Today I'm looking into the world of teaching by sharing what not to do. You see, there are some aspects of learning that might just challenge our assumptions about what is effective teaching. But don't worry, by the end of this video you'll have a whole new perspective on how teaching and learning really works. Hi, I'm Dr. Yu-Ling Lee, and welcome to my channel where we discuss educational ideas and learn how to study like an education professor. Links to all research are included in the description. Students don't learn what you teach. So you're a teacher, and you've just explained a new concept to your students. You have a good lesson plan, you shared the most engaging examples, and you presented the information flawlessly. You might think that your students have now absorbed the knowledge just as you intended it, right? Well, the challenge is that students don't learn precisely what you teach. Instead, students have their interpretation of what you teach. When you share information with your students, it's not just a one-way street. Their understanding is shaped by not only what you say, but also the knowledge they already possess. Each student in your classroom brings a slightly different set of prior knowledge. So what does this mean? It means that when you teach something new, you're not met with identical understanding from all your students. You have a room full of unique interpretations sitting right in front of you. For example, imagine you're teaching a class of 30 students. After your brilliant lesson, you actually have 30 different versions of the concept floating around in their minds. So as educators, what can we do about this? We need to be meticulous about checking our students' relevant prior knowledge before introducing something new. For instance, before diving into a topic like symbolism in literature, it's essential to ensure that your students really understand what symbolism is in the first place. You need to connect your lesson to their existing knowledge, building a bridge from what they know to what they need to learn. But it doesn't stop there. After your explanation, it's crucial to circle back and verify that your students have an accurate understanding of what you just taught. This ongoing feedback loop ensures that their interpretations align with your intended teachings. So the next time you're in the classroom, remember this: students don't learn exactly what you teach. They learn their interpretation of it. By being diligent about prior knowledge and checking understanding, we can bridge the gap between what we teach and what our students actually learn. Don't copy the experts. Let's start with something we've all probably seen in education: the desire to fast-track students to the end point of learning. It's tempting to show them what the experts in a field do and ask them to copy that right away. This might mean describing what a subject expert does and assigning tasks that require students to copy the expert's methods. For instance, asking students to replicate an artist's style, or copying a scientist's lab procedure. But here's the catch. This approach often ignores the intricate learning process that experts undergo to reach their level of proficiency. For example, if you're training for a marathon, do you start by running marathons every day? Of course not. You start by building a strong foundation. You focus on shorter runs, having good nutrition and sleep, and make a plan to gradually increase the duration and intensity of your runs. Marathon training involves activities that don't necessarily resemble running a full marathon. It's a step-by-step process designed to prepare you for the ultimate goal. So if our ultimate goal is to help students ace their exams, transfer knowledge across topics, and apply their knowledge in real-life scenarios, then the learning task we assign students shouldn't always mirror something like taking final exams, at least not initially. Just like marathon training, we should start with foundational activities that build up to the desired outcome. These activities may not seem directly related to the end goal, but they're essential for building a strong knowledge base and skill set. So the next time you're crafting a lesson plan, remember this: don't rush students to imitate experts right away. Instead, help them build a solid foundation through a thoughtful progression of activities. If you're finding this video helpful, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more educational insights. Performance isn't the same as learning. Typically, how do we gauge learning? Well, we rely on student performance. That is, how well they perform on tests, or what they do in assignments, even what they say and do in the classroom. But here's the catch. Performance may not always be a reliable indicator of true learning. Why is performance sometimes a misleading indicator of learning? Well, learning, especially the kind we aspire to for our students, is a long-term investment. It doesn't happen overnight. It unfolds over an extended period. So we must look at indicators over the long term to truly assess whether students have grasped a concept. It's not about quick wins, it's about sustained understanding. Now, research has shown a fascinating idea. Conditions that temporarily worsen performance can actually enhance long-time learning. It's a counterintuitive concept that challenges our traditional notions of teaching and learning. How do we go about impairing performance then in order to promote learning? Well, it's all about employing specific techniques at the right time. Techniques such as retrieval practice, which involves low-stakes testing, or spacing, meaning leaving gaps of time between revisiting material, and interleaving, alternating material or questions from different areas of study. And I have another video that explains these techniques in more detail. These techniques are often referred to as desirable difficulties because, in the short term, they make things harder for students, potentially lowering their immediate performance. But in the long run, they can significantly enhance learning. It's a crucial point to note, implementing these techniques effectively can be tricky. It's not a one-size-fits-all solution, and it's essential to consider students' learning motivation in this equation because it plays a significant role in the process. Don't divorce knowledge from skills. Let's talk about the relationship between knowledge and skills. Often, we focus on teaching learning and study skills as generic processes, but there's an essential link between skills and domain-specific knowledge. Take the example of critical thinking. Teaching students a set of generic steps won't make them great critical thinkers. To excel, it would be helpful for them to have in-depth knowledge, analysis, and evaluation of a particular subject. We see that critical thinking is necessary for both science and math classes. Yet in science, this often means exploring the natural world, conducting experiments, where students need to make observations, draw conclusions based on empirical evidence. In math, the same students develop critical thinking skills by working with numbers and data to find solutions through mathematical formulations. These are both separate domains of knowledge, with basic foundations of science and math, each building towards the skill of critical thinking. We want our students to provide nuanced, insightful responses, and that requires a deep understanding of the content of math, science, or any other subject. So instead of teaching generic skill building of supposed critical thinking, try focusing on building a strong foundation of knowledge in math or science, and then applying it to developing skills such as critical thinking. And there you have it. We've uncovered 4 ways on how not to teach. Remember, learning is a complex and dynamic process, and understanding these nuances can help us make better decisions in education. Thanks for joining me today, and as always, please share your thoughts and questions in the comments section below. I'll see you in the next video.